Listen, I started investing in Bitcoin in 2013 when it was $95. And I either was smart enough or made the mistake of talking about it at an investor conference. And the next day I was on the cover of the FT. The only time I was on the cover of the FT, predicting that Bitcoin would go to 1,000, and luckily it did. And so I kind of got sucked into the space of kind of unofficial, or one of the unofficial spokesmen, which has now been an 8-year and fascinating journey. And so I've kind of seen Bitcoin evolve from this fringe asset, wonderfully crafted, built around a small community of cypherpunks and libertarians and people that really didn't trust the center, to now 8 years later, being known by over 120 million people around the world. It's the largest distributed asset. And that's something that's really important to think about. What gives Bitcoin its worth isn't the spectacular code that Satoshi created, right? The code is pretty spectacular, but if we took the code and we called it U Owen coin or Mike Novogratz coin and created a fork, it wouldn't be worth that much. Sorry, you. What gives it its worth is the social construct. It's got worth because people say it has worth. Seeing over this 8 years, networks continue to grow and grow. This 2-day seminar that you're putting on is amazing because it's introducing Bitcoin to a whole new network, right? This corporate CFOs, corporate treasury network, and why they should care about this. We've got insurance companies that are caring about it. We've got hedge funds that are caring about it. But we have Mike Novogratz's and Michael Saylor's in every village of the world telling this story. And so kind of my broad advice in general to corporates is, hey, if you can take Bitcoin or another crypto as a payment system, right? You can sell your hamburgers or your nice suits or your glasses, right? If that can be part of your payment process, great, because you're listening to people, they want it, it's coming. If that's not your biz, even putting some of it on your balance sheet sends that very powerful message. It's been de-risked in lots of ways. It was a lot riskier to buy when I bought it at $90 or even at $1,000 or $10,000 than it is to buy up here at $35,000. And I'm not guaranteeing the price goes straight up. It could go back down to 27,000 and go back up. There'll be volatility, right? We're trading at a 90 vol asset right now. But it's de-risked in a lot of different ways, right? There are amazing custody solutions. Back when we first bought it, you thought, Jesus, what if I lose my key? That doesn't exist anymore. And I'm sure Michael yesterday took you through how he's custodied his stuff, but there are plenty of great custody providers. When I talked about being this bridge between the institutional world and the crypto world, we wear suits most days and hoodies on some days. Right? The crypto world, in lots of ways, reminds me of when Uber got started, right? You're able to smash a bunch of rules and break things. And we didn't have that luxury. We pretty much play straight down the middle. I used to have a sign that says, "We're too rich to go to jail." And even Gary Gensler, the new head of the SEC, he was really interesting. And he taught a class on blockchain at MIT, and I taught one of his lectures, or gave one of his lectures. And he said, when you regulate, you let small companies experiment and play in the gray zone, but you don't let big companies play in that. And so we started off as a public company, and therefore we've never played in the gray zone. And so we're pretty buttoned up in terms of, our processes around security, KYC, and all the rest. Listen, Bitcoin is a great alternative to fiat currency, and it's a great hedge versus the debasement of currency. There's no guarantee that, we're going to become Venezuela. Quite frankly, I pray every night that we don't become Venezuela. It's just the possibility of that happening is growing. The probability is growing. And so the word hedge is probably the right word. Putting some Bitcoin in your portfolio is the right hedge.
What's your outlook for the Bitcoin marketplace for the next 1, 2, 3 years?
Yeah, listen, I think we've hit a tipping point in this network effect I talked about. And my base case is if I look at Bitcoin as a percentage of gold, I think Bitcoin is going to be digital gold. I know a lot of people disagree with me. They'll think, no, it's going to be money. It's going to be the blockchain of all blockchains. I just don't think so. I think it's got a beautiful lane as a store of value. It was perfectly designed as a store of value. And so I think of it as what percentage of market cap is gold. We're about 6% of gold market cap. My sense is by the end of the year, we are easily 10. So that gets you to Bitcoin 55, 60,000. I know as soon as we get to 10, we're going to say, well, why 10? Why not 20? And when we get to 20, we're going to be 50, and then we're going to be 100. And so I would be, 60,000 the end of this year, and I'm 500,000 probably by 2024, 2025. I was born in the year of the dragon in 1964, and 2024 is the next year of the dragon. So I said, we get to 500,000 by then, I'm going to get a dragon tattoo. But I'm kind of kidding, but I'm not. I think you're going to see this, and just like it used to be crazy and now it's not. Why is 10% of gold a target and not all of gold? You look what PayPal did. I mean, PayPal, 330 million customers, right? They're in essence the largest bank by customers. And they sent a really strong message. Every single bank got scared. I got calls from every one of those banks that next week.
Really?
Can you come talk to us? Because we're going to move from people having bank accounts to people having wallets on their phone. Right? Facebook is going to come screaming into this business real quick with the Diem coin. Diem is going to be a dollar-based stable coin, and they're going to have the Novi wallet. And so I think the big financial firms are trying to scramble. I don't think they'll move fast enough, to be fair. I think tech guys are much better at biting off their arm to grow a new arm. But so in payments, you're going to see a wild fight over who wins the payment game. All of that is good for the Bitcoin ecosystem because it's built on the same rails and the same ideology. Even if it's a dollar-based stable coin, that wallet is going to allow you to buy Bitcoin in it. And so, Bitcoin's got a pretty narrow mission statement, right? Which is give me a hedge against the debasement of currency. Looking really closely at the NFT market, right? So you're seeing collectibles switch from physical collectibles to digital collectibles overnight. There's a company called NBA Top Shop that 3 weeks ago no one had heard of, and now everyone's talking about. There was a LeBron James card that you bought for $9 that traded for $71,000. And so this shift generationally for living on the internet to digital world is happening in light speed. And I think one of the things our company Galaxy can do for companies is help educate them on that, right? We have the best guys around kind of the digital world. And every company needs to be thinking not just how blockchain affects us, but how this transition from a physical world to a digital world is going to affect them. So and it's happening at light speed. And so I'm not a maximalist. I actually love Bitcoin, but I think the big revolution is going to be built on probably the Ethereum blockchain. And the coolest stuff is going to be driverless banks and driverless insurance companies. What we call DeFi now is going to just be fintech, and it's going to be companies without employees. There's a lot of KYC issues to address, but there's some great companies that are already working on solutions, right? We're going to be able to transact. There'll be a company on a blockchain that'll give you the blue check. I don't know who I'm transacting with, but I know he's been KYC'd. And so pretty soon the DeFi stuff is going to eat the lunch of traditional finance. And what's surprising me is how fast it's growing. Like I used to say, all of this is a sandbox, right? This is a venture sandbox. I'm now seeing guppies jump out of the sandbox and become frogs, right? There's a payment system in Korea called the Chai payment system that's built on the Terra blockchain that uses the Luna coin, and all of a sudden people's eyes start spinning. But it's starting to get more and more market share in payments in Korea. So that's like a real world application. So every business has to say, hey, what's coming in the future? And every investor has to say, hey, crypto used to be kind of a cool thing. Now in 3 years, I'm going to have to understand it so I understand what's going to get whacked in my old word portfolio.